Girls in the Know is a nonprofit organization designed to educate and empower girls with their moms or mother figure. And here to tell us about its 5th anniversary Knowledge and Power fundraiser is Gina Marten. Welcome, Gina.
Thank you.
And let's talk about the fundraiser in a minute, because I just want to talk more about Girls in the Know. My daughter and I actually attended one of the very first programs, I guess it was 5 years ago or 6 years ago, right at the very beginning of the organization's development start.
Wow, that's great.
So I have some personal knowledge, but you guys have grown tremendously over the years. So tell us a little bit about why it was started.
Sure. Girls in the Know was started by Lori Lander. She's a local St. Louis mom, lives in West County. And at the time, her oldest daughter was around 10 years old. And she was really starting to think about and noticing physical changes in her daughter. She was starting to venture out more on her own and really thinking to herself, how am I going to kind of prepare her to navigate the world today that's a little bit different than it was when we were preteens and teenage girls.
Mm-hmm. So she had this idea based on her own parenting of this young daughter who was 10, like mine at the time. And so when we attended the program, it was in an elementary school in my neighborhood, and lots of moms and daughters came together once a week and had some awkward conversations, but really great speakers. And is it still the same format?
It is. It's the same format. We can female. So into a nutritionist and talk about a healthy body image. Week 3 led by a police officer, and that's called All About Safety. And then week 4 is led by OBGYN, called Birds and the Bees. And that's probably the awkward conversations you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, it was very well presented, though.
Yes.
It was very appropriate, and you know how girls who are 10, anybody who's 10,
right.
Girls or boys, they just, hear it, but it was great, and it was right there in our community, and I know you're still going up into schools, into neighborhoods to do these programs?
We are. We're typically, a mom will reach out to us and invite us to come to the school, and she usually has a group of friends she's been talking about this with. And so we work with the school, we set up the program, we do all the work on the back end, do all the organizing and the invitations and the registration.
And it's typically a 5 or 6 week program in the evenings, is
that
right?
It's a 4-week in the evening, and designed that way for moms who work so they can make the program as well.
Yeah, perfect. And at the elementary level, so like the 5th grade, 6th grade.
Yes. So Lori designed the program for girls ages 10 to 12. So most of the girls are 5th and 6th grade, although we're seeing more 4th grade girls, which I think is interesting because I think girls are being exposed to more at younger ages. So we are seeing that younger age group.
I think parents want to get information out to their kids. They start those conversations early. That would be my guess on.
They do. They want to start them early, and love the idea that it's a third party starting the conversation. So it kind of takes a little bit of heat off the parent, where that professional opens up the conversation, and hopefully the idea is that back at home that'll continue.
Exactly. So, and you guys, so we started 5 years ago or so, and how do you know the numbers? How many families you've reached? How many schools you're in? I don't want to catch you off guard with the data, but how much have you grown?
Well, we started our first program in 2009, and we had about 20 mothers and daughter pairs attending. And in the last 5 years, we've reached close to 3,000 mothers and daughters with the program. And some of that growth has occurred in the outreach, so we're doing more programming in neighborhoods where girls really need this information. So we are doing the outreach. We've visited almost every major school district in St. Louis. But what we're seeing a big growth in is in the private schools. Some of the parochial schools are inviting us in. So we have visited over 40 of different school districts in the St. Louis County area.
Great. And so if somebody wants to have you all come to their school or to their neighborhood to do a program, they can just reach you through your website?
They reach us through the website. We just recently were fortunate enough to be able to bring on a program director. So we've grown, and we can work with whoever contacts us through through the website.
Okay, so you've got your 5-year anniversary event next week. It's on Thursday night?
Yes. Thursday night at 6 p.m. we'll open up the doors with a cocktail reception. It's for adults. The event we're inviting Dr. Tim Jordan will be there to speak about raising adolescent girls.
Right, and he's very well known in the St. Louis area, psychologist, I believe.
Yes.
Who specializes in adolescent girls. And
yes.
yeah, a lot of people around town know him or have read his columns and that kind of thing.
Yeah, he's really great.
So people can still come. Tickets are still available?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and it'll be held at View 17, which is in the University Club Towers building.
Okay.
And they can register at the door that night.
Okay.
If they
Very
want
good.
to.
Right. Centrally located on Brentwood. So perfect. Well, Gina, thank you so much for coming and telling us about what's going on with Girls in the Know. It's great to know how much you guys have grown over the past few years. And we'll be right back with more STL TV Live. But before we go to break, take a look at today's featured hot job brought to you by Slate and Missouri Workforce Development.